Hello, hello. If you're looking for a standard operating procedure template that you can utilize in your agency, fantastic. This is going to be a beautiful video, and I think that if you don't feel like you have a great way for documenting systems right now, this is going to be a really beneficial video, because if you actually document things and you build good training, you build good systems, typically this is what allows you to scale in a sustainable way so that you can continue to grow your agency from 10, 20, 30, 40, $50,000 a month up to 100, 125, 150, $200,000 a month, and continue to grow. So let's first dive into the template, and I recommend that you build yourself some sort of template like this. So I like to say building systems. I don't say SOP, I just use SOP because that's the common terminology that everybody uses. But standard operating procedure, in my opinion, what would be a better definition would just be like a system template, because there's systems and processes, and a system is basically like the overall thing that has a goal. And then the process is like a component within the system that helps you achieve the goal of the system. And so there might be several processes within a system, but there's one system tied to several processes. So that's why we start with the goal. Write out the goal of this system. This is great. It kind of forces you to think, oh wait, what is the system that I'm building, and what's the goal of this system? Okay, this is the goal. Great. Then you want to write out some KPIs. What are the key performance indicators for measuring the success of this system? Okay, there should be some, and sometimes there isn't really any, but that's fine. We want to have this here because in a lot of cases there is KPIs. Then we want to write out what are the core components of this system. Okay, now I'm going to give you a real example, so stay with me. And then we have the documentation for executing this system. This is what we would basically consider the SOP, but I just call it documentation. All right, so here's what an actual system looks like. And this is a little bit different than the template you're seeing here. Again, you can modify it. It's just important that you have a general structure that you can go into when you're building something. So this is sourcing training for recruiting, basically, and helping us find and source really great talent so that we can hire people faster. Notice how it starts with just a nice little hello, and then there's also this table of contents, and if I was to click here, it would take me directly to that section. Okay, so in the top here, we have the context, which is what is the system goal? Trojan Horse Recruiting is the name of our recruiting system, and the goal of THR is to allow us to have a less than 30-day turnaround time for hiring someone. So that's the goal, very obvious. And then why do we need it? And then we get into the training, and in the training, this is basically like the documentation. We define, what is sourcing, how can you become a master of it, etc. And then we begin defining our ideal talent profile, etc. So I don't want to show this whole thing because there's passwords in this document and other things. But the point is that like you need to have some type of basic structure to be able to go in and build an SOP. And it can be different for everybody. This is what I really like. And it doesn't mean you need to stick to it to a T. You can change it and manipulate it as you need per whatever system that you're building. Okay, so coming back to our whiteboard, you should store SOPs, or what I like to call, systems, with the SOPs and the processes within the system document in a wiki. We used to use Google Drive for everything, and it just became very chaotic. Why? Well, Drive is kind of limiting in the UI. If you look at Google Drive, there's not really a beautiful way in which you can store pages and click into pages, and it's also not very nice to write on. Like I like something that allows me to have like creativity, and I can write, like I can add little GIFs in and like add emojis very easily, and I can change the font sizes and move around blocks of text very easily. So we use Notion, and we use Notion for storing our documentation. The other thing about Notion is it has an amazing search function, and so I can search and find something very quickly. It also has it's just really good for storing information. So we use Notion for storing information, and I recommend that you use some kind of wiki tool like Notion over Google Drive, especially if your agency is doing like $10, $25, $50,000 a month. If you're just starting out, well, 10 is also quite small, but I would like to, I wish I would have had something like this when I was doing $10,000 a month. So that's pretty much the benefits is you have a better search function. You have a better way to access the documents. It's better for writing, in my opinion. And it's much easier to just like build out a system. You can do it much faster given a lot of the features that they have for like moving around blocks, and table of contents is really nice. It's just a beautiful way to write. So that, ladies and gents, is my systems building template that I like to use, and a real example of it being built into a system within our agency. If you have any questions on this, please let me know in the comment section below. I am not sharing a link to this specific document. You can create it for your own as you would like. I don't want people to just use the exact same thing, and this is so simple that it would take you 2 minutes to write. But please let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and if you haven't already subscribed, please do subscribe. And last but not least, if you do need help growing your agency, feel free to check out agencyenlightened.com. That is the website which has information on our program, Agency Enlightened. All right, much love, everybody. I'll see you in the next video. Ciao.